The United States has just witnessed a staggering 34% decline in its share of global GDP over the past 2 decades, from 31% in 2000 to merely 22% in 2020. This stark drop-off has far-reaching implications, particularly for the average American taxpayer, who is shouldering an increasing burden of maintaining the country's fading superpower status. As a result, the nation is grappling with an unprecedented $28 trillion national debt, a figure that has nearly doubled since 2008. The consequences of America's diminishing global clout are already being felt across the globe, with real countries and real people bearing the brunt. For instance, the ongoing trade war with China has resulted in a 25% decline in American exports to the country, affecting over 2 million U.S. jobs. Furthermore, the erosion of the U.S. dollar's value has led to a 15% surge in the cost of imported goods, directly impacting the purchasing power of American consumers. The ripple effects are also being felt in countries like Japan and Germany, which have seen their exports to the U.S. decline by 12% and 18%, respectively, over the past 2 years. The decline of America's superpower status is a complex phenomenon with multiple facets. One key factor is the rising influence of emerging economies, particularly China, which has become the world's second-largest economy in terms of nominal GDP. China's economic ascendancy is not limited to its massive domestic market. The country has also been aggressively expanding its global footprint through strategic investments in infrastructure, technology, and energy. The Belt and Road Initiative, for example, is a massive undertaking that aims to connect China with other parts of Asia, Europe, and Africa through a network of roads, railways, and sea routes. This initiative has the potential to reshape global trade patterns, with China emerging as a major hub for international commerce. Another crucial aspect of America's waning superpower status is the shifting balance of military power. The U.S. has historically maintained a significant advantage in terms of military spending, but this gap is rapidly narrowing. China, in particular, has been modernizing its military at an unprecedented pace, with a focus on developing cutting-edge technologies such as artificial intelligence, cyber warfare, and hypersonic missiles. The implications of this shift are far-reaching, as a more assertive China is likely to challenge American dominance in regions such as the South China Sea and the Indo-Pacific. Russia, too, has been reasserting its military presence, particularly in Eastern Europe and the Middle East, which has led to a significant escalation of tensions with the U.S. and its allies. The impact of America's declining superpower status on global governance is also significant. The U.S. has long played a leadership role in international institutions such as the United Nations, the International Monetary Fund, and the World Trade Organization. However, the country's waning influence has created a power vacuum that is being filled by other nations, particularly China. The Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, for instance, is a Chinese-led initiative that has attracted significant support from countries across the region, despite initial U.S. opposition. The rise of new global governance structures and institutions is likely to continue, with the U.S. facing increasing challenges in maintaining its dominance. The role of technology in America's decline as a superpower cannot be overstated. The U.S. has long been a leader in innovation, but the pace of technological change is accelerating rapidly, with countries like China and South Korea making significant strides in areas such as 5G, artificial intelligence, and renewable energy. The implications of this shift are profound, as technological dominance is increasingly critical to economic and military power. The U.S. is facing significant challenges in maintaining its edge, particularly in areas such as semiconductor manufacturing, where countries like Taiwan and South Korea have emerged as major players. The demographic factors contributing to America's decline are also significant. The U.S. population is aging rapidly, with significant implications for the country's workforce and pension systems. The fertility rate in the U.S. has fallen to a record low, with the country's population growth rate slowing dramatically. This demographic shift has major implications for the U.S. economy, as a shrinking workforce and aging population will place significant strain on the country's social security and healthcare systems. In contrast, countries like India and Nigeria have large, young populations that are driving economic growth and innovation. The economic implications of America's decline as a superpower are far-reaching. The U.S. has long been a magnet for foreign investment, but the country's waning influence is likely to lead to a decline in capital inflows. The impact on the U.S. dollar, which has long been the global reserve currency, is also significant. A decline in the dollar's value would have major implications for American consumers, who would face higher prices for imported goods and potentially even inflation. The rise of alternative currencies, such as the Chinese yuan and the euro, is also likely to continue, as countries seek to reduce their dependence on the U.S. dollar. The impact of America's decline on global trade is also significant. The U.S. has long been a major player in global commerce, but the country's waning influence is likely to lead to a decline in its trade volumes. The rise of new trade agreements, such as the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, is also likely to continue, as countries seek to reduce their dependence on the U.S. The implications of this shift are profound, as global trade patterns are likely to be reshaped in the coming decades. The U.S. is facing significant challenges in maintaining its position as a major trading nation, particularly in regions such as Asia and Europe. The cultural implications of America's decline as a superpower are also significant. The U.S. has long been a major cultural force, with American music, film, and literature enjoying global popularity. However, the country's waning influence is likely to lead to a decline in its cultural reach. The rise of new cultural powers, such as China and India, is also likely to continue, as these countries seek to promote their own cultural identities. The implications of this shift are profound, as the global cultural landscape is likely to be reshaped in the coming decades. In conclusion, America's decline as a superpower has significant implications for the country and the world. The rise of new global powers, such as China, is likely to continue, and the U.S. is facing significant challenges in maintaining its position as a major player in global affairs. The world is entering a new era of multipolarity, where no single nation will dominate global affairs, and the U.S. must adapt to this new reality to remain relevant. The decline of America's superpower status is not a catastrophe, but an opportunity for the country to re-examine its priorities and forge a new path forward.